Bonus play underway in Conference USA, and freshman sensation Charles Bassey leading the Hilltoppers into Birmingham after falling to Old Dominion. Meanwhile, UAB's Blazers go to overtime to knock off Southern Miss, and they'll be looking for a home win tonight. Conference USA basketball on beIN Sports is next. Have you ever been to a pod? That's where we're going tonight. Bartow Arena in Birmingham, Alabama. Western Kentucky taking on UAB. The bonus games of Conference USA continue, and we will get the chance to debate their merit over the next hour or two. Phil Shane alongside Megan Perry, and as we take a look at these two teams, they are in the top group of 5. That means they're guaranteed a top 5 seed. The top 4 will get a bye, Megan. That's important.
It's absolutely important. We're playing for seeding right now. Western Kentucky coming in as the number 2 seed, and UAB holding that 5th and final seeding spot in group number 1.
However, Western lost the opener, taking on the top seed Old Dominion in the bonus games, while UAB eked out an overtime win against Southern Miss. There is one man in the spotlight for Western, and it's the young freshman.
Mr. Charles Bassey is the name you need to know for Western Kentucky. Charles Bassey is a very talented big that works so well on the interior, especially well from block to block. He demands a double team every time, and he is a double-double machine all by himself. Not only does he control the paint on the offensive end, but he is a savage rim protector and relentless rebounder. He is quite the load to handle on the inside as Conference USA's 8-time Player of the Week. And you see Charles Bassey, the damage that he did back on February 16th, the last time these two teams met, 23 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks, outstanding. And Zachary Bryant for UAB, a speedy and crafty point guard that is the motor of this team. He leads the Blazers in scoring with 14 points per game. He is dynamic off the dribble. He can step back and hit that long-range 3-point shot. And he's put up double figures in the past 10 straight games. But what doesn't show on the box score about this kid is how hard he competes. You better bring your A game every time because he will show up ready. And Mr. Zach Bryant, back on February 16th at Western Kentucky, a season high of 24 points, a healthy 8 of 15 from the field to go along with 6 rebounds and 4 assists. He really fills it up, Phil.
They're taking a look at the Western Kentucky starters, and it is Charles Bassey, who is the top rebounder, scorer, field goal shooter, and 3-point shooter when it comes to percentage on this Western Kentucky Hilltopper squad. Tavian Hollingsworth does the best of the rest, especially when you're talking about defense. Second on the team in steals with 34. Rick Stansbury, the boss, the 59-year-old Kentucky native, 5-3 against UAB. That will be put to the test today. Good look at Rob Eason on the other side, the young native of California in his 3rd season with the Blazers. And here's how they'll come out. You talked about Zach Bryant. Jeremiah Bell, the transfer from Milwaukee, has done a good job balancing the backcourt.
I absolutely agree with that. It's important to have a buddy in the backcourt for Zach Bryant. And I also have my eye on Mr. Lewis Sullivan on the interior for the Blazers.
Just a few moments away from the start of this one as we look at Rob Eason, 36-year-old, taking over in 2016, same year that Rick Stansbury took over at Western Kentucky. What do we expect tonight? What does UAB need to do to win?
Well, UAB knows that rebounding is their mantra, and it's really important for UAB to be able to control the glass. And the Blazers, they have 2 big guys on the interior that they want to make sure contain Mr. Charles Bassey for Western Kentucky.
And that will be one of the tests. Meanwhile, on the other side, how do the Toppers finish on top?
I think it's so important for the Hilltoppers to finish plays, Phil. That's really what it's all about. They've dropped a few close ones of late, and so it's going to be really important for them to work on making shots, finishing, and I think also equally important, taking care of the basketball.
As we take a look, the Blazers in white. We look at Anderson McCoy. Bit of a surprise in the starting lineup here today. The senior getting a chance to shine. There, the tip won by Western Kentucky. Ball off to this near side. Ball flipped up for Bassey underneath, tries to jam it up but double teamed, and it trickles out to Zach Bryant. Talked about Western focusing in on their young freshman, but they've also made a switch at the point guard position. Here driving to the hole is Jeremiah Bell, and he draws the foul. For much of the season it was the young freshman Delano Banton, but they've made a switch here in the late going.
They have, and you'll see at the point guard position Lamonte Bearden, and right now that looking really nice replay. We see the Blazers attacking off the bounce. Bell getting on the inside. Nice work. But as we were saying a little bit before, Phil, for Western Kentucky, you're going to see a little bit of a different look at that point guard position. Lamonte Bearden has been putting together really solid minutes for Coach Stansbury, so he'll be leading the way.
Foul against Anderson, sending Bell to the line. He's a 62% free throw shooter. Wouldn't know it from those first two shots. Here at Bartow Arena, built in '88, holds about 8,500. A few empty seats, but then again, this game set up on relatively short notice. The final games of the season determined by where you were slotted in the schedule, in the season table in the late going. Nice dribble by Bryant, frees himself. Long range jumper, bobbled and into the corner. Trying to track it down is Jared Savage, and can't keep it in play.
Well, the Hilltoppers coming out and playing with a sense of urgency. I see that, like, a little bit more energy, pep in their step, something that Coach Stansbury talked a lot about previously. He is really looking for who is going to bring the energy on the floor for his team. He says that's who's going to get the minutes, whoever brings the best energy.
Again, you look statistically, and these two teams rather evenly balanced. Nice drive to the hole, and Lewis Sullivan continues his good run of form, almost single-handedly dragging the Blazers to victory in overtime in their last game.
My goodness, Lewis Sullivan off the bounce, so smooth.
Shaking his way through is Hollingsworth into the paint, loses control. Gay passing forward, scoop to the hoop, and off the glass by Bell. Good start by the Blazers, and Stansbury better be cautious.
Absolutely. The Blazers looking great, getting out in transition. Lewis Sullivan off the dribble, the finish at the rim, and then Jeremiah Bell as well, able to get to the rim. I love the attack by the Blazers early on.
So it's 6-0. We haven't even gone 2 minutes in, and Western Kentucky wants to talk this one over. What are the Blazers doing, or what is it that Western isn't doing?
Well, I think one important adjustment is going to be discussed in this timeout is the defense for the Blazers. They have been double teaming, as expected, Charles Bassey. And a couple possessions back, Charles Bassey did not read where that defense came from, and it forced a turnover. I think for Western Kentucky, they're going to have to do a better job of recognizing what the defensive rotations are, and for Charles Bassey to be able to find the gaps in that defense, find his shooters, and see if they can get on the board.
You saw the performance against Southern Miss. Lewis Sullivan, 17 points, 8 rebounds, including a three-pointer with just 6 seconds left to send it to the extra session. Bassey calm and cool under the bucket. Blazers, 3 straight wins, but all away. A respectable performance at home, where they are 10-4, but
well, for the Blazers, their offense has really come on strong of late, and it's because of the balance. They have Zach Bryant on the outside, but Lewis Sullivan is doing an outstanding job on the interior for this team as well.
Would draw this game back to 1 point if they can hit from 3. Off to Savage, back to Lamonte Bearden. Hollingsworth from the top of the key, and again Bassey getting caught too deep underneath, and Bell with the rebound. Drives in, right wing shot, Maktar Gay, and the big man with a soft touch.
Oh my goodness, Maktar Gay, we see you shooting that three-point ball with range. And I talked about the interior play of Lewis Sullivan, but not to be forgotten is Maktar Gay. That dynamic duo on the inside has really been doing damage, and to see Maktar step out, that's a problem.
Ball whipped back to the left wing. Josh Anderson lifts it up one-handed. Collision underneath. Anderson McCoy does well to draw the foul. Maybe one of the reasons Rob Eason giving him the chance here today, the 5'11" senior out of Indianapolis.
Well, McCoy doing all the right things early, drawing the foul. They're boxing out. That's what he needs from him, just energy. Play as hard as you can and come with tremendous energy.
What that does allow them to do, keep Jalen Perry and Taven Lovin a little fresh for later. It is getting late in the season. Legs get a bit tired. Or seem to get rejuvenated once the postseason gets underway. Slapped off the board as Gay denied. Here's Lamonte Bearden. Dished into the corner. Hollingsworth drives. Stops, pops, and drops. It's another bucket for the 6'2" sophomore from Lexington.
Tavion Hollingsworth, he can score in so many different ways. I mean, he is truly dynamic. He has 17 points, 4 rebounds in their last outing against ODU.
Second on the team in steals, second in assists as well. Here's Bell. Little off target, and Bassey pulls down the board. From distance, and just like that. Foot on the line, though, so still a 3-point game.
Well, Phil, it didn't take long. Western Kentucky has figured it out, starting to heat up a little bit.
Kind of interesting, McCoy, but then he gets stripped. Driving in, commits the foul, but does not give up the hoop. And it's a 9-6 game. Timeout on the floor.
Well, the Blazers with a quick hot start led by Bell, but Western Kentucky with the response. It's 9-6 early on, the Blazers over the Hilltoppers.
Well, if you peek through the huddle, you might see that Dragon breathing a bit of a blaze with the cushion in back. And that's because Rick Stansbury, just coming off of back surgery, missed 4 games, the first time he's missed coaching in his career.
Yeah, we're glad to have Coach Stansbury back, obviously, and hoping that he's feeling better. And while he was gone, assistant coach Mark Sue stepped up and served as the interim head coach. But you see Coach Stansbury there with a special padded chair, trying to make him a little bit more comfortable on the sidelines. But we know, he brings the fire for sure, Phil. He doesn't lack for spice on the sideline. You see a little bit of special seating there for Coach Stansbury to help make sure he's comfortable throughout the game. But he's not thinking about that back. He's thinking about how his players are responding.
And here he is trying to stay comfortable. If you've ever had back problems, I think you can sympathize. And Mark Shue shooting a little fire as well, who was the interim coach. Had actually gone on a 5-game winning streak, but now have lost 2 in a row.
Well, this Western Kentucky team is up and down, and it's a young team. We cannot forget that. But this is a team where I don't think, Phil, that their record is truly indicative of how good they are. I mean, let's not forget, in the non-conference season, they knocked off at the time number 15, 16 Wisconsin, the time number 14 West Virginia. So a very capable team.
Flipped into the corner. Jalen Perry out there now for the Blazers. 6'3" senior from Louisville.
Little defensive switch up out of that timeout. The Hilltoppers in what looks to be a little matchup 2-3 zone.
2 seconds on the shot clock. Off balance. Kisses off iron, so they'll get a chance to reset.
The Blazers are known, Phil, for being a really strong rebounding team. And when you switch into a zone, it makes it a lot harder to rebound. And
nice
they're getting
turn
a second
from the
look.
line. Sullivan, and it drops home. And they do get that second chance point.
Exactly what they do so well. UAB is outstanding on the glass. They're out rebounding teams by about 4+ rebounds per game.
Woody pointed out before the game, out rebounding the opposition 20 of 28 times, and of those 20 times they've won 15.
So rebounding definitely a key to the game for UAB.
Chance for Savage, and that was dropping it in. We're tied, first time since the opening buzzer. To finish your thought about this Western youth movement under Rick Stansbury, only 32 teams in the top 300 plus are younger than the Toppers. From distance, rattles around. Gay tries to slap it free, but Bassey pulls it away. And up to Hollingsworth it goes. Quick shot, Savage. This one a little off target. And with your thought on the non-conference, they were in the top 20 strength of schedule before the Conference USA season got underway. And that could help should they do well in these bonus games and in the tournament when it comes to selection time. Beautiful shot from distance as the Blazers back on top.
Yeah, Zach Bryant getting it going for UAB. But Phil, to your point, when you have a young team, I mean, there are definitely some growing pains, but the energy that they bring when they don't know what they don't know, right? And so they just come into situations where a veteran team might be a little bit more hesitant or conservative, and the youngsters just let it fly. And I think that's what Coach Stansbury wants from his team. Like, play a little bit freer, let it fly, trust your instinct.
Reach in foul by Jeremiah Bell. Saw Taven Lovin and Ty Scott Grayson checking in. Lovin, the freshman, his first career double-double against the Hilltoppers just a few games back. And since he's returned from injury, they are unbeaten. The ball underneath is Tolu Smith spelling the big man. Drives in, drops it home. Tamel Pearson unable to contain. The 6'10 freshman backed in.
Well, Tolu Smith brings just more size, a bigger, wider-bodied post player on the interior. He really asserts his presence, as you see when he came in looking to score. No rest for the weary on the inside.
But a little rest for Charles Bassey. They know they might need him late. And the game's coming a bit hot and heavy. Driving underneath and scooping on the other side. Ty Scott Grayson, his first points of the night. Both of these teams in action on Sunday. Western will welcome Southern Miss. Blazers take on UT San Antonio, who we will get the chance to see next Wednesday on beIN Sports, our final game of the year. And it'll be fun watching the Roadrunners. Fun here watching Pearson, the young freshman, with the quick adjustment.
The Blazers are playing with a special energy early on. I mean, they are really playing inspired basketball, everyone getting in on the action. It's a fun game atmosphere.
Pearson, again, a player who has not seen much action this season. Getting out there early, the Chicago native with his first bucket. Bearden uses the pick, but then just drops back and didn't need any help from distance. 24-foot jumper, nothing but net.
Let's also remember, Phil, that these two teams met not so long ago, and the Blazers got the win over Western Kentucky on the road. So the Blazers are coming in here with confidence soaring, understanding what they did last game, and very confident with their ability to repeat.
Bryant thought about duplicating the long shot from three. Dishes far side, Scott Grayson. Tangled up, tied up, and the jump arrow in favor of the Blazers. So they will get it back.
The Blazers doing an excellent job driving to the basket. So excellent, penetrating the seams of the defense, causing problems for Western Kentucky early on. 18-16, the Blazers.
Well, a little too early to celebrate, but it was a good start for the Blazers. Although the Hilltoppers bouncing back, red and white within two. Take a look at some of these streaks since the three-point line went into effect. Over 1,000 games Western Kentucky have gone since they missed their last three.
Well, it's a heck of a streak. And to summarize that, get your hand up because they're going to hit at least one in Western Kentucky. Not shooting the ball as well as they would have liked to over the past couple outings, but you know, with a team that can shoot the three ball the way they are capable of, you shoot yourself into it and out of it, so keep letting it fly. Well,
again, the pods set up, especially top, to get strength of schedule up for the better teams when it comes time for the NCAA tournament to select. So these are two of the best teams in crunch time, and they're playing like it. Off balance in the corner, rattles off the glass and out. Both of these teams at 50%. 9 minutes in. Jake Omer gets it back. He's dangerous from three. Kissed back by Jun. Shot at the top of the arc. Rebound, soft grab by Zach Bryant. Tries to dish it across. Tolu Smith had a handle on it and does knock it off a Blazer and out. Hilltoppers get it back. Both of these teams in the early going already 9 deep, giving some of their bench players some early minutes.
Yeah, everyone, is getting some action, and I think that's a great thing, using all the weapons available to you.
Batted away. 17 seconds remain on the shot clock.
And another thing, Phil, at this point in time in the season, these teams know each other so well, right? You've already played one another, if not once, maybe twice by this time.
You're sick of looking at tape.
You are, absolutely. So there's no surprises, and so that means, it's more work for the coaches. You got to figure out what are the adjustments, making that second and third adjustment. And sometimes that comes with unanticipated substitutions.
Hollingsworth tried from distance, tapped away by Ulmer, grabbed by the Blazers in transition. Bryant, young sophomore, something to build on for Rob Eason. Scoop and drop by Taven Lovin. 3-0 since his return from injury, the young freshman from Franklin. Back up to a 4-point lead.
Lovin is a difference maker, to put it mildly, for the Blazers. He has been outstanding. He had 14 of his 16 points against their Southern Miss last game. That came in the second half.
Here's Ulmer. Banton into the corner. Smith trying to back in on Pearson. The Chicago native gets the hands up, but forcing his way through the hometown kid.
Well, Smith getting excellent positioning on the inside. When someone with his stature gets that type of positioning on the block, that's pretty much either 2 points or a foul.
Again, when you grew up in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and you're a good player, Stansbury's going to try and find a way. Smith still just a freshman. Almost stolen away by Banton, the young Canadian.
You see the ball movement here by the Blazers, and Lovin getting on the inside. We talked about his abilities off the bounce. So effective. Nice spin and finish at the rim.
Second leading field goal shooter on this Blazer squad at 55%. Only 10 seconds on the shot clock. Not much time. Slapped away. Regained by Scott Grayson. 2 seconds, off balance and off target. Western will get the ball on the inbounds.
It's a solid defensive stand by Western Kentucky. In particular, I thought actually Jake Ulmer on the ball, checking his man one-on-one, did not allow a shot to go up. So Western Kentucky with an opportunity to tie and or take the lead.
Have not led tonight, have the Hilltoppers. 23-time NCAA invitee. 7 times made it all the way to the Sweet 16. Driving baseline and dropping it in past Maktar-Gay. And we're tied at 20. Blazers have made it to the big dance 15 times. 3 times to the Sweet 16. Actually made it to the Elite 8 back in 1982. And that's really where Rob Eason has his goal again, to try and get the Blazers back to their glory days. 17 wins this season, Megan, and on track for what would be their 4th 20-win season in the last 5. And if they keep dropping shots like that, they'll get there.
My goodness. The Blazers looking good, shooting that 3-point ball with ease. And if Gay's going to step out from the perimeter and stretch the defense like that, it's going to cause problems for the Hilltoppers.
Bassey giving the evil eye as that shot sailed over, grabbed by the Blazers, and a chance to stretch their lead. 6 points. Both buckets from beyond the arc. Well, that's one way to get Bassey out of the paint.
For sure. We think of Maktar-Gay as being an interior force, but he's like, look, guys, I want to be on the perimeter.
And here's Sullivan looking to duplicate it. Rebound, Gay underneath. Drives, draws the foul, but He will just get the 2 from the line, and a timeout on the court. Strong start by the Blazers.
Well, the Blazers doing their work off the dribble and inside. Gay getting busy.
Looking outside of the UAB. (23-20) UAB with the lead. 7.5 left to go in this opening half, and Gay dialing long distance, which is a little unusual because the Blazers tend to get their points from the backcourt.
Absolutely. I would say definitely has turned things upside down a little bit with the play of Gay early on. There's something that Coach Easton saw in the scouting report, because Gay is 2 for 2 from behind that three-point line, an area that we're not accustomed to seeing him kind of hang out and really be great at.
On the season, just 10 of 47, but perfect on the night. And a chance to stretch their lead from the stripe. A 72% from the line on the season.
Well, Gay is a player that has really worked hard to better his game in every fashion. We see him stepping out a little bit, and also as well just his physique. He worked hard to put on some pounds in the offseason and continue to gain weight throughout this regular season so he can hold his own on the inside.
6'10", 200 pounds. And you know the scouts are here to watch Charles Bassey, so not a bad night to have a good game.
For sure, why not? I mean, steal the spotlight, why don't you? What about me, right? Gay definitely showing us a little bit more of his offensive arsenal.
8 points to lead the Blazers, and all scores as it's a 25-20 game. Driving in Anderson. A little wild on the layup attempt. Good work by Bell.
Ooh.
Scooping in, dropping off, and dumping it home. Lewis Sullivan. Good team play.
Goodness. I couldn't even hold that one, Phil. That was some kind of drive.
Driven inside, Bassey draws contact. And again, he is a streak breaker. Always nice to have a player like Charles Bassey.
Well, for sure. And Charles Bassey, there's no reason that he should not get a touch, at least one, every single time down the floor. I mean, he does good things with the basketball when he does get it. But on the other end of the floor, the Hilltoppers have to lock down on defense, because their defense is getting shredded by the penetration of the guards for the Blazers.
Good look at the young freshman out of Nigeria. Drops it home for a freshman big man. 75% from the free throw line. That's third on the team. He leads the team as a freshman in points, rebounds, field goal percentage, three-point shooting percentage. Second in the conference in blocks, second in the nation among the freshmen when it comes to rebounding. Trying to isolate, but they don't need to worry about rebounds if they keep shooting like that. 40% from behind the arc.
Yeah, what an incredible half of basketball the Blazers are putting together thus far. I mean, this is some of the best basketball yet that I've seen them play the entire season.
And Ty Scott Grayson averages 5 points on the night. He's almost there. Anderson drives in, lays it home.
That's a tough matchup, because Anderson, that two-man game on the wing, do you play him straight up, right? Or do you leave him and double down on Bassey? You have to pick your poison, and whatever you choose seems like it's not going to be the right answer.
Dumped back for Gay. He's hit 2. Why not try it again? Well, maybe that's why. And a chance to draw within 2 from the corner. Savage. Long rebound, and UAB in transition. Here's Perry. Looking underneath for Gay, tapped away. Talked about 3 straight wins away from home. Kind of nice to come home on a winning streak.
Very much so, and the Blazers looking very comfortable on their home floor. We talked about, you know, the confidence that they're displaying here. It seems to be surging and getting higher and higher with each minute that passes. They've been, for the most part, in full control of this basketball game.
And the young freshman Tamel Pearson slamming into Bassey from behind, commits the foul. Mentioned they've lost 2 in a row, have Western Kentucky. Although that last one was a hard one to swallow. Less than a minute and a half left. They had the lead, but could not score the rest of the way. Old Dominion scored the last 7 points of the game to walk away with a 67-63 victory.
And that's been the conversation in the locker room for the Hilltoppers. I mean, just such a small difference between winning and losing. Coach Stansberry talks about walking a fine line. It's the small things towards the end of the game. They just have to clean up so that they can turn those losses in close games into wins.
Hollingsworth stripped away again by Savage. Tosses it up, dunked home by Smith. But the foul had been called and out of control. The charge against the Hilltoppers. Good work by Pearson.
Very good work by Pearson. He's been so active on the defensive end. You see him step in and Savage goes up looking for that alley-oop, but a better defensive play that time.
Pearson averaging just about 7 minutes a game. Getting some extended time here, trying to use his height. And that was one of the keys for UAB. Again, out wide, trying to show his dribbling abilities. Maktar Gay from the elbow, off target. Maybe a little out of control.
It's a clear scout by UAB, trying to draw the bigs for Western Kentucky out to the perimeter.
Three-pointer from Bearden. Rebound Savage. 4 minutes left to go in this opening half. Hollingsworth. Bassey, who's a 50% three-point shooter, drives inside. Soft on the scoop. Grabbed on the break by the Blazers. And again, drawing the foul, Sullivan will head to the line.
The Blazers looking really good in the open court, pushing the pace and tempo, trying to get an easy baskets. And while they didn't score, they picked up the foul.
So timeout on the floor. 5-point lead by the Blazers. Well, before the game, we were talking about the backcourt duo of Zach Bryant and Jeremiah Bell, but the big man wanted to muscle his way in.
Well, Maktar Gay, he is definitely figuring out how to score. He is in rhythm, and he is playing some kind of basketball. Western Kentucky, the bruising interior play of Charles Bassey was denied by Gay. And then the Blazers able to get out in transition. Maktar Gay on the corner three-point shot, filling it up. He has been shooting excellent. He's 2 of 5 from the floor. He has 8 points, and prior to just 5 points per game and 3 rebounds. He is definitely having himself a game.
Toss on 3 steals and 2 blocks for the big Senegalese forward, and getting a deserved break. Just under 4 minutes to go in this opening half. Chance to stretch the lead. Sullivan has been busy. This Jalen Perry going to the charity stripe. The senior out of Louisville, Kentucky, 59% from the free throw line on the season. And that one spins out.
Jalen Perry is a player I like to call an X factor, because he's someone that doesn't necessarily scream so loud on the stat sheet, but he's someone that does the intangibles and keeps this team glued together.
Maybe someone stepping in, either that or the officials wanted to chat before the shot. Explain this a little bit. 36%, second on the team behind the arc, and only 59% when he's standing still at the line.
You know, that's something that I wish I could explain. Free throw shooting, I'll say, was not my forte. However, you know, it doesn't really make much sense when you can shoot it with such proficiency from behind the three-point line. And then you get to that free throw line and you go ice cold. But to tell you the truth, they're 2 different types of shots. And one comes in rhythm and one, quite frankly, is not.
See the officials at the scoring table right now, trying to figure something out. Might have to do with the clock, but there were players inside the paint.
It's going to be, they're looking at that elbow on Charles Bassey, I think, against Pearson on the inside. Whether or not that was a flagrant foul,
Well, it could be lane violation, or, and it does look like he's reaching to his lip. I think you caught the elbow as Pearson did.
That's just what my educated guess is.
One of the reasons Pearson's out there is to be annoying.
Absolutely, to hold his ground, be a little bit bothersome in the paint, but I think there are definitely a couple things going on in that play, whether it was a lane violation, but there was also some contact above the shoulders, and anything above the shoulder is especially sensitive and will be reviewed.
And they decide nothing. So the second missed free throw results in the inbounds, and Western a chance to trim this lead as the first half winding towards a close. Hollingsworth in for Bassey. 5 points, 4 boards on the night. And a little push on the back door. Pearson again caught.
Well, Bassey's such a load on the inside. I mean, he really, you know, just overpowers you, quite frankly, and asserts his will on the inside.
Savage. Off to Bearden. Talk about this young team is Tolu Smith, one of the freshmen. They've had to rebuild. Again, Bassey. And reaching in, a little lazy defending against Bryant. And a chance for a three-point play. Or did they catch him while he was still on the ground?
What the scouts are looking at for Bassey is his positioning. He does the work before he gets the basketball. He's so excellent. Look at the footwork. He's up the lane, hands ready. All he has to do is catch and finish. With that frame, it's so easy to do. It's going to be a three-point play if he converts his free throw.
He is 75%, and you can add to that.
That's what the scouts that are in attendance watching Charles Bassey, that's what they're looking at, how he prepares for the play, because that's something that you can continue to grow and teach as his skill sets evolve.
But it's a maturity to the game to have that knowledge, that sense. Long range three, right off the iron, easy board for Smith. Chance to take their first lead of the game. And the shot from distance buried. Jared Savage gives the Toppers the edge.
Big sequence for the Hilltoppers, getting some stops and the score. You see the score by Savage, and the Blazers have to settle down. They need a good shot. I think that last possession was their best shot.
Bounce pass inside for Sullivan. Looking for a little help. Back for Bryant. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Scott Grayson can't get it over Smith, whips it underneath. Nice spin, but off balance on the shot by Lovin. An easy board as Western a chance to stretch, and in for Bassey, in and out.
That's a chippy, a miss from Bassey. I know he wants that one back.
Last year, 27 wins. 2 years ago, just 15. Picked up 12 in just one season, but lost a lot of that. If they can get the victory here today, it would be their 17th. Lovin with the slam.
A nice high percentage shot and finish in that possession. Prior to that, the Blazers had missed their last 5 field goals. So a way to stop the run.
And there is a timeout on the floor. We will keep it here. Taking a look at this last chance.
The Blazers getting a nice dunk at the rim. Lovin finishing, elevating that play. Taking advantage of the screen and roll action, just finding the gaps in the defense.
Again, in this pod 1, the top 5 teams battling it out, guaranteed a top 5 seed, but in that there's also the top 4 of those 5 who will get a bye in the first round of the postseason. So if you do finish in 5th, you have one extra game to play, so more tired as the tournament progresses. And here, taking a look at Lovin's last 3 games since returning from injury. On the night, 4 points, 2 of 3 shooting with a couple of boards.
Taven Lovin has been outstanding, a great spark off the bench. He has my vote for 6th player of the year. But, you know, get this young man the basketball. He has shown that he knows what to do with it and just positively affects the game.
UAB back in front as the lead seesaws a bit here. Nice by Hollingsworth. Good recovery by Bell. Forces the poor shot. And Gay in to grab the loose ball. Blazers own the overall series against Western Kentucky 24-15, but they've split the last 6. Nice. Taven Lovin, delicate inside the paint.
Lovin just continuing to do work. I mean, he's making the game look so easy because he's simplifying it. You know, come out on me, I'm gonna go past you. Leave me open, in your eye, 3-point shot. I mean, he makes basketball look really fun.
Bearden, the transfer from Buffalo. Dishes left. Smith. I think that Savage loses his defender. Smith pulls away, and now a chance for the Blazers to pull away a bit. Bryant. Hollingsworth trying to shut him down. To the baseline. Drops it back to Sullivan on the wing. Into the paint. Again, another soft touch. Sullivan, 8 points.
And more importantly for the Blazers, getting into the paint. Right now they're leading 18-14 in regards to paint points.
And again, it was now with 9 seconds left, a chance for the Hilltoppers to take the lead into the half, but the Blazers have responded. Final shot, and it's an air ball all the way to Gay. And 36-31, Blazers hold the lead at the break.
Well, Phil, I'm not sure that UAB could have played a better half of basketball. I mean, getting contributions all around. Mac Targay getting his team started early, and Lewis Sullivan holding it down as well. Both of them have 8 points leading going into half.
Well, after their overtime victory against Southern Miss, UAB responding against Western Kentucky at home, looking for their 4th straight win, heading towards the postseason. 36-31 at the half. Well, looking in at Bartow Arena, Western Kentucky trailing by 5 at the break. UAB with the lead as we take a look at our Conference USA standings. This the top 7 and those top 5 in Pod 1. Old Dominion looking strong.
Old Dominion is looking outstanding, and they have a veteran backcourt led by PJ Stiff and, you know, Ahmad Caver. They're playing extremely well, and I think are going to be a very, very tough out. You see Stiff here doing some of his work. But this team is sharing the ball so well, playing just an elite level on both the offensive and defensive end of the floor.
Really looking forward to taking a look at these guys next week, UTSA and their dynamic duo.
Yeah, Javon Jackson, you see number 2 there. He can fill it up. I call him Steph Curry-like because he definitely doesn't see a shot he doesn't like ever, and he's definitely just a highlight reel.
Take a look at those bottom 2 teams. UTEP and the Niners are going to face off. The loser would be eliminated. Remember, the bottom 2 teams do not qualify for the postseason tournament, so there's going to be a battle there. Should the winner win out, they could climb up, but FIU and Marshall looking to try and get a good seed.
Well, Marshall, this is a dangerous team. They're led by John Elmore. Everyone knows his name, but I don't think that their record really indicates what they're capable of. It's a team I definitely have my eye on.
So again, this is the first season of these bonus games, and we'll see how it works. The Conference USA teams have done well in the NCAA tournament in recent years, knocking off a few giants, but they've only had 1 team qualify. They're trying to sneak in a second and maybe more. And right now, UAB looking pretty impressive. 2 wins since they've taken on the big boys, trying to hold on for that second against Western Kentucky. Well, many of the award winners for the Blazers in all of the sports being honored here today. And UAB looking to send them out with a victory, celebrating 40 years of Alabama Birmingham basketball. Phil Shane, Megan Perry with you, taking a look at what's going on at Bartow Arena. But let's take a bigger picture around what the nation last night.
Well, Grant Williams with 21 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, filling up the stat line for Tennessee in a big win at Ole Miss.
Corey Davis got the job done for Houston, who put 99 on the board against East Carolina. and Caleb and Cody Martin combining for nearly 50 points as Nevada knocks off UNLV.
And a name we've called before, Mr. Chris Clement had a 32-point performance, 11 of 22, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Boy, that is a mouthful for from the young guy from Campbell. He is playing outstanding.
A little closer to home, Conference USA. And Rice's Robert Martin doing well as they get the Texas two-step past UTEP. But Jordan Lathan does get some honors. The Miners freshman, wait, that's not Charles Bassey. So 32 points, 18 boards, and 3 assists in a losing effort.
A worthy recognition, I think, for someone playing so well, Mr. Lathan, in 1 week without Mr. Bassey in the recognition column.
Old Dominion topping the table right now for Conference USA. And then as you take a look at the dynamic duo for the Roadrunners, first and third in Conference USA scoring, 44 points a game, and we'll get a chance to see them against Western Kentucky. And if UAB stays in front, that's going to be almost a must-win for the Hilltoppers, and that will not be an easy performance against UTSA. Well, right now it's a 5-point lead for the Blazers at home as they look for their 4th straight win, and Western Kentucky tries to avoid its 3rd straight loss. Highlights from the opening half coming up. Conference USA basketball on BN Sports continues. UAB coming in 17-11. Western Kentucky 16-12 in that head-to-head meeting at Western just a couple of games ago. The difference, first road win they had against the Hilltoppers since 1998, and they're looking to double dip, and thanks to the big man, they have a chance.
Well, Mac Targay has a lot to do with how the Blazers are playing that deny defense, and then on the offensive end, showing his perimeter skill set from behind the three-point line, filling it up, and his partner on the interior, Lewis Sullivan, playing solid basketball, getting high percentage shots, and really forcing the defense to work, especially Charles Bassey on the inside for Western Kentucky. They got to account for Mr. Lewis Sullivan. And then for Western Kentucky, Jared Savage has been leading the way. He is dynamic off the dribble. You see that nice pull-up jumper finishing in transition. And he can get it done from three-point line as well. Nothing but the bottom of the net. And his attack has been balanced with that of Charles Bassey on the inside. Bassey just working hard, getting very high percentage shots on the interior. We're all aware of the work that he can do and the damage he can cause. Nothing new from Mr. Bassey, just picking up where he left off, dominating the interior.
Well, take a look at the way that first half came to a close. Western had actually taken the lead with 2 minutes left and then missed their last 4 field goal attempts while the Blazers came alive when it counts. But there's still another 20 minutes of basketball to go from Bartow Arena. UAB in front of Charles Bassey and the Hilltoppers. It's the second of the bonus rounds. They'll continue on the weekend. UAB will be taking on UTSA. Western against Southern Miss. And each team with just 1 bonus game after that. A vital second half next on BN Sports. Well, not sure if a chiropractor is needed, but they probably could use someone that could control the boards. Right now, Rick Stansbury, his back pain may be the least of his concerns.
Well, it was a tough first half for Western Kentucky, but to tell you, with all the troubles, it's only a 5-point game, right? They're only down by 5, 31-36, and I think a lot of things that Western Kentucky can do differently. It starts from the defensive end and with getting Charles Bassey some touches. I think that anchors their offensive attack.
And again, intriguing, going with Anderson McCoy, the senior out of Indianapolis, the gym rat, out there to start this second half. Played 4 minutes in the first. Driving in on the Senegalese big man Gay, and Josh Anderson draws the foul. For Gay, that's his second personal. Josh Anderson, transfer in last season, misses the first.
Well, Josh Anderson, he is a dynamic playmaker. Everyone on every team needs a guy that can go get one, and that's Josh Anderson for the Hilltoppers.
That's the second. Does have an assist on the night, which means, Megan, he is just 3 steals away from having 100 boards, 50 assists, 50 steals, and 20 blocks.
Yikes.
Not bad for the sophomore.
Not bad at all. Well done, sir.
Trying to grab another steal here, but quick feet by Jeremiah Bell. Slides to a stop. Quiet night for Bryant. We were talking about this during the break. Launches a 3 and rattles the rim.
Right on cue. Not so quiet anymore. It was an uncharacteristically quiet half for Zach Bryant. He only had, I believe, 4 points, but 3 points, excuse me. But a lot of basketball still ahead, and we know he can fill it up fast.
Well, he had a career high 24 against Western back in Bowling Green. Underneath, Bassey tips it up and in, makes it look so easy. We talked about how all the scouts are looking. And just to give you an idea, Western Kentucky, a program that's been around for years, had its first pro day because there were so many scouts that wanted to take a look at the big man. What does he need to do to get ready for the next level?
I think there's a lot of things that they're in the details, right? You're not going to see it to the naked eye, but it's going to start with on defense. He cannot have any defensive lapses and continuing to evolve his game so he can also step out of it.
And a nice transition put back, but the whistle had already blown as Savage draws the foul, and another foul against Gay. That is his second.
Western Kentucky getting in transition. Savage excellent at positioning his body to draw the foul. And that is going to put Mac Targay most likely going to send him to the bench.
Well, we'll find out. Something you talked about from a key for Western Kentucky, finishing plays. And while the bucket didn't fall, they do draw the foul and get a chance to make some points from the line with the clock stopped.
Well, the Hilltoppers have come out with a new energy. They are excellent in the open court. They can get out into transition a little bit more, get some easy baskets. That's going to bode well for them. And I think their defensive energy and intensity changed a little bit. They're doing a much better job of locking down on defense, not allowing easy penetration.
Meanwhile, for UAB, trying to contain Bassey. He's up to 10 points, tied for a team high. Gay still out there, off to McCoy in the corner. Nice positioning, and trying to reach in to tap it away was Bearden. Second foul against the Milwaukee native. Well, in the absence of points from Bryant and Lovin in the first half, it was the big men Gay and Sullivan. Here is Sullivan from distance. Gay can't grab the rebound, and Hollingsworth pulls it down. Chance to tie things up if they can hit from distance. Underneath instead, Bassey gets a second effort, third try, but Sullivan finally rips it out of his hands.
Bassey's missed a couple chippies, and I think you have to credit the defense.
Oh!
Bryant with the scoop and the miss, but Phil, I mean, I was going to say that Charles Bassey has not necessarily finished on the inside, and the Blazers are taking advantage of it, getting out and running. Zachary Bryant trying to get it going in transition. He'll get an opportunity at the line.
Bassey 4 of 10 from the field. He averages 63% on the year, so a little under his performance. Soft off the rim and in by Bryant. Leads the Blazers from the free throw line. Here is Bassey, leading scorer, leading rebounder, leading field goal percentage for the Hilltoppers. Second in the conference in blocks, averaging about 2.5 a game. Nice box out, and Savage pulls it down. Well, if there is one weakness for UAB, it is from the free throw line, averaging just 66%. They're below that tonight. 5 of 8. And that might just leave the door open for the Hilltoppers. Bassey, if you're going to leave him open,
My goodness, Charles Bassey, I mean, if he could do a little bit more of that, I think that's where scouts are going to start to really, take even more notice than what they are right now.
12 points, 8 boards already. He's got 13 double-doubles on the season. McCoy looking to dish. Off for Sullivan. 18-footer swish. Well, they needed that.
They absolutely did, and I think that's part of the game plan for the Blazers, to pull the bigs out, let Sullivan and McTargay show a little bit of what they can do from the outside in an effort to get Bassey away from the basket.
Little scoop back for Bassey, but grabbing a hold in the process was Lovin. Anything to slow the big man down.
Well, he's knocking on a double-double already. 12 points, 8 rebounds for Charles Bassey. He is extremely active on the interior. He's getting touches every single time down the floor. And for as well as he's playing, I would say he's having a good game. It hasn't been great. There's definitely missed opportunities. And Savage just going to the basket really hard, picks up another foul. I think in the second half, Phil, the Hilltoppers are doing a much better job of attacking. Not to say that they were tentative in the first half, but they didn't go to the basket with the same intensity and ferocity that I see from them now.
Now within 3. Savage having a lot more responsibility in the late going of the season. Bassey grabs the rebound in a 3rd straight foul. Sullivan whistled as Bassey had position.
And the home crowd does not approve of that last call at all. And Lewis Sullivan a bit confused.
So Bassey with a chance for some cheap points from the line. Sullivan shaking his head. 2nd foul of the night for the big man. Bassey 3 for 3, make it 4 for 4. 14 points for the freshman.
Well, it's such a gift when you have a big man that's so dominant like Charles Bassey, who also shoots the ball well from the free throw line. There's no hack-a-shack per se when you have someone that shoots it as well as he does from the free throw line.
No hesitation to pass it into the paint. Well, to Sullivan, double team, spots a gap. Lovin underneath. Into the corner, driving in is Perry. Trying to tap it free Sullivan and keeps it alive. A fresh shot clock.
Well, the zone defense has caused UAB to just slow down a bit to try to figure out where the gaps are. They had success in the first half against this zone.
Find one here. Perry dishes it off, and a sweet touch from distance by Bryant.
Sullivan with a really soft touch, being able to rise and finish there with that mid-range.
Sullivan up to 12 points. Bearden in for Bassey. Back for Bearden. Back for Bassey. 2-man game. But the push against the freshman. Sullivan draws the foul this time.
It's a nice 2-man game. Bassey recognizing the inside out. He kicks it back out when the double team comes back in. He's doing a much better job of reading the defense.
3-point game. Blazers in front. Well, this one's still in striking distance. Western Kentucky and UAB separated by just 3 points. 5 minutes into the second half. Phil Shane, Megan Perry, glad you joined us on beIN Sports tonight for this bonus game in Conference USA. Here's some of the other action going around the conference. Marshall edging La Tech in the second half. FAU a low-scoring affair against North Texas. And Old Dominion trailing UTSA, but it's early.
Yeah, there's a lot of basketball still to be played, but I'm so interested to see how these games fare. And we have UTSA coming up next week, Phil.
Should be fun for the Road Runners. Never seen a shot they didn't like. 7:30 on Wednesday. So not on Thursday, on Wednesday. Our final game of the year. We'd love to see you there. And even the seat not comfortable for Rick Stansbury at the moment.
Well, his team is grinding it out. When you're playing on the road, things just don't come as easily as they do at home. And, you know, 41-44, I think that Western Kentucky is where they want to be. You know, if they're not going to take the lead, they are right within striking range.
Can't lift the foot up, and looking for a little help is Scott Grayson. Does get it from Bryant. Something you talked about that Western wanted to do was to get some help from their bench. Nice spin by Sullivan into the traffic, and he draws a foul against Bassey. That's the big man's second.
Yeah, Sullivan aggressive, attacking Bassey with the spin, waits for him, and it had a little something extra to say after the play, a little trash talk, you know, something.
Sullivan's first trip to the line, leading Blazer with 12 points. He was one of the 5 starters today, talking about bench points and how Rick Stansbury was saying that was going to be a focus. They're getting outscored off the bench by Bob Eason's Blazers 13-4.
Well, Coach Stansbury, his point is that he's looking for from his bench more energy. And it's not that you have to come in and you have to score 10, 12, 15 points, whatever it is. There's someone you have to contribute to this team, and you can contribute with positive energy, inspiring your teammates.
Foul on the drive to the hole. And Ty Scott Grayson not happy with the call.
It's getting a little bit chippy. I sense a little bit more physical. There are some fouls being called as we wind down here. Both teams attacking the paint. And we see Bearden off the bounce, drawing the foul. But it's getting a little spicy. I like it. I like it towards the end of conference play.
And the missed opportunity from the line. Trying to shake it off. 74% from the stripe on the year is Bearden. The fifth-year senior misses them both, though. Will that come back to cost the Hilltoppers? Spotting a gap, scooping it off glass, and in is Bryant. 3 points at the half, now 9 points on the game. Acrobatics from Hollingsworth, who says anything you can do.
It's a really nice shot. A little bit more difficulty to that shot than what it looks like. The runner off one leg from the free throw line. Okay, sir.
Maybe he got something from the gymnastics team at the half.
Something. A little sauce on it.
Scott Grayson again looking, uses the pick, finds an open Sullivan, drives to the line. Bassey got the touch and the block. 68 now on the year.
If you're going to go one-on-one against Charles Bassey, what you cannot do is fade away. He has too much length and he's too athletic. It's going to be a block every single time. You've got to go into him and create the contact.
Sullivan doing well to get that ball back. Driving in is Bryant, and the hand goes cold. Savage. Dish off Hollingsworth, and the hand is hot.
Hollingsworth just casually let that go, but I think Western Kentucky starting to heat up. They're getting out, they're running a little bit more, getting into transition. That's really where they thrive. 2-point
game. Western Kentucky already in the bonus. Sullivan, though, drives home.
Nice. Caught the defense sleeping in that last possession.
5 straight winning seasons for the Blazers, and another guaranteed here for the green and gold.
Bassey working really hard in his positioning. Sullivan and Bassey down low are having quite a battle.
Chance for Anderson. The Hilltoppers human highlight reel. Tried to bounce that off and get the inbounds. Instead, he starts a break the other way. That's batted away by Bearden. Hollingsworth finds the open Savage in the corner. Tipping it up is Anderson, and wins it back. Had the fresh shot clock. Drives inside and draws the foul.
Wow, in transition, the block by Bearden, emphatic, and then the other way, Hollingsworth in transition. I see that Western Kentucky is starting to play with a little bit more pace and tempo. And with that, I get the sense, Phil, that they're just playing a little bit harder. They're starting to get some of the loose balls, those 50-50 situations. Things are starting to go in their favor. And slowly but surely closing in on this lead, 4 points to 2 points. You know, they're starting to hit their stride with 12 minutes and change remaining, plenty of time.
Two hard losses the last time out against this very same Blazers squad at home, and then when they went ice cold down the stretch against #1 ODU, the conference leaders. When you have a young team, you want to see how they respond. You want to see them grow. You want to see them learn.
And I think that this team has, when a young team, speaking of Western Kentucky specifically, this is an interesting moment in this game with the two leading scorers for Western Kentucky on the bench. Savage and Bassey right now are getting a rest. So I'm interested to see where the offense is going to come from with those two not in the game.
And can the Blazers take advantage? Pick set by Scott Grayson. Dished off for Gay, and they do drive in to the Bassey-less paint.
Well, the Blazers have picked apart that zone defense. They're getting high percentage shots. They're moving the ball, finding the gaps, and it's really been something that they've found with ease.
Gay, 10 points on the night, 2 better than his season average. Little sloppy pass from Tolu Smith leads to a break the other way. Perry to the wing, in and out, rebound, but the follow-up missed by Pearson. Hollingsworth, short and out, and a breather for the Blazers, who lead by 4.
Well, they got away with one there. They missed that chippy, and then unfortunately are able to get a stop on the other end. Both teams grinding hard. Sullivan, Bassey, the battle on the inside. The Blazers up 52-48 over the Hilltoppers.
Well, just a couple of games ago against UAB at Diddle Arena at home, Western lost by 8 points, shooting just 37%, and went 6 of 27 from the three-point land. Little better tonight at 41%, but just 4 of 14 behind the arc. Lewis Sullivan has stepped up to fill the gap for the Blazers today in the absence of some backcourt scoring, but he's going to get a breather here.
Lewis Sullivan has been excellent for his team. You know, he had, up until this point, he's had 21 games where he scored in double figures this season. It does so much for this team, not only in the scoring column, but, you know, paces this team on the glass as well.
Meanwhile, Zach Bryant, who's only at 9 points, 4 boards, 5 assists, 2 blocks, so he is contributing, keeping the Hilltoppers at arm's length. Here's Gay, who got off to an early start. Bryant bounces in for the big man from Senegal. Sets the pick. Dropping it off glass. Charging in nicely was Gay, but he could not grab the rebound.
Well, the Blazers have gotten some touches, but they've not been able to finish. There have definitely been some chippy misses that I know they were going to want back. Gay soaring in, but gets his hands on the ball, but just not enough control to be able to tip it in.
Jalen Perry, who averages nearly 11 points on the season, 0 for 3 on the night. Nice little cross dribble and dropping it home. Down to a 2-point game. Quickly down the other way, and it's the youngster Tamel Pearson dropping the bucket in. Another chance underneath, but a push, and Tolu Smith whistled for the foul. Actually, looks like it'll be Jun.
Robert Eason trying to figure out the right combination as we wind down. 10 minutes and 10 seconds still left to play in this half, but I think he's put together an excellent game plan, and his bigs executing that to a T.
Both teams going cold, combined 2 for their last 9. Bryant, Gay, Pearson wants it back. And a pass that got away from Perry. In an off night for the Louisville senior.
Well, it's only 4 turnovers on the evening for the Blazers, doing a much better job of taking care of the basketball. And as well for Western Kentucky, I think only 8 turnovers this evening. Both teams really valuing each possession.
Again, for the Blazers, they average 12 a game, so making the Hilltoppers earn it. Hollingsworth off balance, tries to bounce it off of Perry and does. Inbounds with 18 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, I anticipate for sure that Charles Bassey back into the game will get a few touches. Every time he gets the basketball, something good has happened, and I would argue he definitely has the mismatch right now.
Off balance for Hollingsworth, just a little too high. Jake Omer, the adrenaline getting away from him. We were talking about this during the break. This is the 29th game of the season, and it's starting to look it. The legs getting a little tired. Another turnover. Hollingsworth stripped, but the foul and the reach in from behind. And Gay, if he's whistled, that'll be his 3rd.
Well, it looks like I think that foul is going to be called on Zach Bryant rather than Gay, so he avoids that. But as you mentioned, both teams, like you see here, the activity on defense, getting out in transition. And for Hollingsworth, he has a 5th gear. He's very explosive in the open floor, but I think that these teams are starting to get a little bit tired because it has been an absolute grind. But it's going to be about who can push through. It's gut check time.
Hollingsworth with 8 points on the night. Had 17 in a losing effort against the Monarchs. It's them both back down to a 2-point game. Just the one lead. A little over 2 minutes left to go in the first half for the Hilltoppers, but they're staying close.
And they're sticking to this 2-3 zone. I'm a little surprised by that because I think that the Blazers have had a lot of success against it.
Pearson out wide. Perry finally sinks one.
When you sit back in a zone, you open up the gaps along that 3-point line, and you also make yourself very vulnerable when it comes to rebounding. I mean, 2 areas that I think the Blazers really thrive at. So I'm curious to kind of understand a little bit more why that zone defense is what the Hilltoppers are committed to.
And Bassey for a push off. Eason doesn't want to smile yet, but things starting to tilt in the Blazers' favor.
Well, that's the 3rd foul, I believe, on Charles Bassey. And a lot of time still left to play in this game, but that's becoming significant. We have to watch foul trouble because Jared Savage also has 3.
And they've been rotating the big men against him, so maybe a chance to try and pick up a 4th here. Pearson off for Perry. Shoots 36% from behind the arc. Does Perry, and into the corner they go. Leaves the defender in his wake. Short off the glass. Pearson couldn't tap it in, and now a chance for the Toppers the other way. Savage from the wing, can't take flight, tapped away Bassey, and the Blazers get it back. 5-point gap, less than 8 minutes to go.
Well, both teams grinding it out, but it's going to be about who can finish the play, and the Blazers from 3 lighten up that zone, having their way.
Well, it's a 5-point lead for the Blazers, who have held the lead for almost the entirety of this game. But the Hilltoppers staying in striking distance, and as you can take a look, it will be a busy Sunday, not Saturday. Conference USA on Sunday. And as you can see, the Hilltoppers will be hosting Southern Miss, while the Blazers travel to San Antonio.
Well, still a lot to be decided. And as we said, Phil, right now this bonus play is also in addition to trying to get teams to up the scheduling and to make sure that they're able to possibly get maybe more than one team into the tournament. It's also about seeding right now, looking forward towards the conference tournament and positioning yourself there.
North Texas started the season like a ball of fire, but now they're dimmed a bit in that second group. Old Dominion topping the Conference USA standings, and Western Kentucky was the second place team when we got to the bonus games, but they lost their first against the Monarchs and in danger of losing their second, but a nice three-pointer makes it back to a 2-point game as Hollingsworth up to 15 on the night.
Western Kentucky seems to be like one score and stop away from being able to take this lead, and every time they get close, the Blazers respond. But it seems to me that they're just one possession away from being able to really change the dynamics of this game.
Blazers, each possession becoming more and more vital. Gay in the corner, off target, short on the three. Hit his first two, now he's missed his last two from distance.
Well, Mac Targay, just being a freshman, sometimes I said, Phil, you don't know what you don't know. You just kind of play in the moment. And I don't think that was the best shot for UAB. That was the first available. But Mac Targay got to kind of know the situation.
Hollingsworth back for Savage, straight away from three. Off rim and down to Bryant, who his pocket is picked by Bearden, who is fouled. Did not want to give up the easy bucket, which would have tied it. Instead, he'll have to earn it from the line.
Bearden with the quick hands, absolutely clean pick of the pocket here, and is off to the races where he can do damage on the open floor. Smart foul to keep him from scoring. Second
steal for Bearden, who is 2 of 4 from the charity stripe on the night. 74% on the year.
Well, we talked about Lamonte Bearden kind of getting back to his old self after missing some time earlier in the season. He was in and out of the lineup, and he's someone that, in Conference USA play especially, he takes care of the ball extremely well. He has a 3.5 to 1 assist to turnover ratio. So basically what that means is get the ball into his hands. He's not going to turn it over, most likely. He knows what to do with it when things get tight towards the end of the game.
Leads the team with 75 assists on the year. Had 13 points and 7 dishes against Old Dominion. Tied at 57. From the free throw line, but Sullivan had second thoughts. 5 on the shot clock. Bassey steps out. Still time buzzing down, and they do get the shot away, but Lovin couldn't sink it, and a chance now for Western to take its second lead of the night. And they do. Driving in, beautiful on the break by Josh Anderson.
Really solid basketball. Nice play by Western Kentucky. Pushing in transition. Josh Anderson goes hard to the basket, and that play was made possible by Charles Bassey. You didn't see it right back in that replay, but if you roll the film back, you'll see Charles Bassey ran the floor so hard, that big man drawing all the defense going with them, and opens up the lane for Josh Anderson.
And Anderson now up to 10 points as it's a 3-point lead by Western Kentucky.
And Josh Anderson has a knack for making big plays. It's not always about how much he scores, it's about when he scores. He is not afraid of the big moment.
So Western's been lurking the entire second half. Blazers have to be more selective. Nice drive. Bryant with the left-handed lay-in.
Well, Bryant leading the way. He says, come on, guys, I know how to get this done, with a nice lefty finish high off the glass.
3 points in the first half, 8 in the second for the sophomore from New Jersey. Hollingsworth, isolation, drives in, and soft off the glass as Perry backed up. Back to a 3-point game, 5 minutes left. Talked about it with the Blazers even when they had the lead, it wasn't a comfortable one. You were wondering about the zone defense from Western Kentucky. Still wondering?
I am a little curious, but right now, Western Kentucky switched back to that man-to-man. They're switching it up, and they're having success. They're playing with a little bit more energy. I think they thrive off of the pride that you play with when you have a one-on-one matchup. So, you know, it's really, I think, been about them taking pride in their defense.
Mentioned they had the lead late against Old Dominion, only to see it slip away. Now trying to turn the favor against the Blazers, but an offensive foul against Bassey. That will be his fourth, and with 4 minutes left, do you sit the big man?
That's a tough call, and I tongue-tied because I'm not quite sure. Right? And it's just because, quite honestly, I'm looking at that last play. He was working so hard to get his positioning, and I did not see where the foul actually occurred.
Well, looks like just a turnover instead, but things getting tight. Blazers a three-pointer away from tying it. Bell against Savage. Draws contact, dishes it off glass and in. What a drive by the Louisville, Kentucky senior.
Western Kentucky is coming on strong. The Blazers trying to hold them off, penetrating the score. But Western Kentucky has something else in mind.
Western Kentucky leading by 1, but the Blazers bouncing back. It's been an interesting game for the Hilltoppers. Slow start to this one, but Tavion Hollingsworth coming alive down the stretch.
Well, Tavion's been getting busy. You see the floater in transition, so decisive and assertive in the open floor. And then the quick hands playing defense, getting out in transition from behind the three-point line, knocking it down. And then one-on-one, just better offense, the grind, the finish off the glass. He has put his team on his back and has made a huge difference in the second half.
5 of 10 from the floor tonight, and it's a 1-point game. Free throws could play a role down the stretch. Both teams in the bonus. This young Hilltopper squad trying to hold on the road. Mentioned they'll be at home against Southern Miss. Their final game of the regular season will be on Wednesday, and we will have it against UTSA. At 62.
Quick thing, Phil. Prior to break, we want to clean up one thing, that Jared Savage has 4 fouls. That last foul was on him, not Charles Bassey. So
that could play a role. Bassey still out there from distance. Hollingsworth, feeling it.
Well, Hollingsworth just doing what he does best. He's a scorer. He can fill it up. He's a gamer. This is his time. 17
points. Looking for the alley-oop. And Zach Bryant with emphasis.
Zach Bryant getting up. Stands at only 6'2", but the guard can fly. Nice play.
Did well in Bowling Green. Now up to 13 points here at home in Birmingham.
Bassey with the double team. It's 2 guys flying at him every time he gets a touch.
Tries to set the pick and looks to duplicate, but can't quite control the touch, and Sullivan rips it away. Blazers with a chance to get back on top, but Bryant's pocket picked. The ball slapped back the other way, and Bryant calls the timeout as he slides across, but he didn't get it done in time.
A lot of helter-skelter back and forth, but Bryant with the alley-oop and the dunk. Nice finish. Looks good from just about every angle.
The crowd likes it from every angle.
For sure. Getting up a little bit of air, like the elevation, young man.
So still a 1-point lead for the Hilltoppers. And 25 seconds on the shot clock as Western Kentucky looks to hold on to the lead. One of the keys before the game, controlling the boards because UAB 15-5 when they win that battle. But right now it's Western Kentucky 29-26. But it's Tavian Hollingsworth who knows what to do when he gets the ball, especially in transition in the second half.
Well, Hollingsworth is winning the battle in the backcourt. He has 17 points on the evening, and we'll add in 4 rebounds at the guard position. Not bad at all, but he's so dynamic one-on-one. He's awesome off the dribble. He hits the three-point shot. He really keeps that defense honest, and he has been exactly what the Hilltoppers are looking for. I think he has been critical to helping this team fight back and looking to close out this highly contested and tight game.
Well, 4 players in double digits for Western Kentucky right now, and Bearden just a point away from making it 5. Does he get possession in time? And he slides across, maybe screaming for a foul as well, but officials going the other way. Bryant also impressive. 10 of his 13 have come in the second half. So 65-64. 2:39 left to go. Western Kentucky looking for a better ending in this one than against the Monarchs. UAB meanwhile trying for its 4th straight victory, and that's in danger. Bassey underneath.
Western Kentucky doing a better job of just executing as we head down the stretch. They're getting the ball in the hands of those that really know what to do with it. Trusting Charles Bassey with the ball and Tavian Hollingsworth both figuring out, doing really good things with it.
Jeremiah Bell a little reckless on the three-pointer. Bassey now his 14th double-double, 16 points, and that his 13th board. Hollingsworth, Savage, Bassey strong, draws the contact but can't sink the shot.
Well, Bassey excited about that one because he worked so hard for positioning, and it was practically one-on-one. He's just salivating at that because when it's one-on-one basketball, he normally has the mismatch and it's over, especially when he gets 2 feet into the paint as deep as he did.
Bassey 4 for 4 from the line today. Chance to make it a 2-possession game. Tied for the game high now with 17 points. Hasn't been the best of games for the freshman, but he's coming alive when it counts.
Charles Bassey just plays at such a high level. I mean, any other person you would say that 18 and 13 is quite a night, and it is. I don't want to take anything away from him. It's just that the ceiling is so high for this young man.
Must possession now for the Blazers. Under 2 minutes left. Opening on the backside and slapped away. They're going to call that one a goaltend, and now 69-66.
Going hard to the basket. Perry gets it up just in time because Bassey was coming for it.
So back down to a 3-point game. Perry, all points coming in the last 5 minutes inside for Bassey. Double teamed. Hollingsworth sees the gap, pulls up from 15. Savage gets there first, and a fresh shot clock.
And the crowd thought that that might have been out of bounds there by Savage, tiptoeing along the baseline. He may have gotten away with one.
1 minute left. Bearden and Bryant, 2-man game out in midcourt. Bassey makes the pick. Bassey in position underneath. Hollingsworth hacked as he gets the shot away. No foul, and the rebound from Gay, a crucial one. Quickly up court. Lovin out of control, but the feet were moving, and he gets a bit of a gift.
He does, because it could have easily gone the other direction, but Levin penetrating the basket. Looks like Bearden may have had positioning, to tell you the truth. But we'll get an opportunity, second look at it.
Well, Lovin will take it, though, and see what he can do with it. First trip to the line on the night. Under 40 seconds left. Sinks the first. Second one comes short. Rebound in the arms of Sullivan. Loose on the floor. Trying to hold on is Savage. And he takes the hit.
Savage looks like got a little bit of contact. Might be shaken up a bit by that.
Foul against Gay. And now the two big men, Gay and Sullivan, both with 4 fouls. Almost got the hand out in time, but a crucial hold, and this a bit of a concern. Bassey is down and in pain.
And that loose ball and the tussle for it as he went down, you saw him clutch his leg.
Looks like he said something rolled.
It looked like it may have been his ankle on that last play. I wasn't quite able to see it in real time. It caught my eye, but he's definitely uncomfortable.
And again, this is the worst possible time, the crunch time of the season. Let's take a closer look.
He dives on the floor and that right ankle turns. Immediately he clutches his right leg.
And remember, they have a game coming up on Sunday against Southern Miss, and then they'll follow that up. They don't even get a breather on Wednesday against UTSA, two teams that like to run. And then it's the conference tournament, and they're hoping for even more. So awful timing for the young freshman if this injury is serious.
It's tough because just playing hard in the moment, diving on the floor, doing what your coach tells you to do, to play hard, right? Get the loose balls, just trying to do the right thing. And looks like his foot just kind of slides out from under him. A freak accident.
Well, we've seen a few of those. Sometimes bad luck, sometimes bad equipment, but Bassey, after the initial shock, appears to be okay, but that might do it for him for the game. And no sympathy really from UAB at the moment, because their job gets a lot easier when Bassey's not out there.
Oh, it does, but let me be clear. Western Kentucky, there's a lot of size on the bench that can come in. Tolu Smith is has a very large interior presence, and him walking off under his own power, I think, is significant. So hopefully nothing more than maybe a mild sprain, and he can be available for the next game.
29 minutes on the night, and that will likely do it for him. Jun checks in, one of those big men. Stretching it to 3. And with less than 35 seconds left, a chance to make UAB's job that much more difficult. In and out, so Gay with the rebound. They're keeping him out there. Within 3, can they find it? Whipped all the way across. Gay to Sullivan, the two big men out top. Driving in Sullivan. A little off balance, the shot high off the glass, and Sullivan over the back. That's going to be his 5th foul. They couldn't get the clean shot from distance, and now Western may be a chance to pull away from the line.
It was a solid defensive possession by Western Kentucky. Sullivan with the jump stop goes up, not able to get it to fall, and then commits the foul. Not at all the type of foul that you would want him to pick up if he's going to do so at the end of the game. It's tough to see him go out, especially since Charles Bassey just went back to the locker room to get his foot looked at. But Lewis Sullivan done for the evening.
And as you mentioned, they do have some big men. They're the Senegalese redshirt junior, transferred in last season. It's the key defensive stop. As Sullivan's night is done, and for Rob Eason, this one stings.
Well, this one's tough, but you have to also know that they were able to steal a game on Western Kentucky's home floor not so long ago. So to be able to split, I guess, the series. Not bad at all, but still 17 seconds to go. There's a lot of things that can happen within this time frame.
Let's put on our thinking caps a bit. One of the things is try not to foul on any shot, but you don't want to make it too easy, because from a UAB perspective, do you look for the three? Do you try and drive for the quick two?
You know, it comes down to the coaching style. Well, my preference is to try to extend the game. And so I will be looking for the quick two. Try to do it in small pieces and then play the free throw shooting game. Foul them as quickly as you can and try to extend this game as long as possible. I think that's got to be the strategy for UAB.
And from a Western Kentucky defensive perspective, how tight, or do they just try and box out for the rebound?
Well, I think they just want to play a conservative, disciplined defense. Much easier said than done. But my primary concern is getting the rebound. I think that's the conversation going on in this huddle.
Well, 71-67.
And I'll even add to that, Phil, if you're going to foul, if you happen to foul and you're Western Kentucky, don't allow for a three-point play. In no circumstance should it be an and one.
Well, Eason thinks he has drawn up his best chance here. Need to get 2 buckets or maybe a bit of luck on a three. Finally picking up the dribble is Bryant across midcourt. Into the corner for Perry. Launches from 3, in and out. Rebound Anderson, quickly fouled, and now just 8.5 seconds left. Gay is gone, his 5th.
Well, Maktar Gay played an outstanding game. He had 10 points. He has 5 rebounds on the night, a complete game, 3 steals, 2 blocks.
Now being told that his day is done. 10 points, as you said, with the 5 boards, 3 steals, 2 blocks, but UAB quick turnaround against the Road Runners. We're giving Old Dominion all they could handle the last check we saw. Sinks them both. 6 points as the seconds tick away. Lands after that first 3 attempt, and the buzzer finally sounds. Western Kentucky comes from behind to snatch the victory against the Blazers at Bartow Arena.
A very big win for the Hilltoppers. On the road, a victory is not easy to come by, but this young team was able to put together a complete game, fight back hard, and close out a close matchup. I think that the battle of the backcourt was won by Western Kentucky tonight, and I'd like to highlight the play of Tavion Hollingsworth, finishing with 17 points. He had 4 rebounds, and also the play of Charles Bassey on the interior, a night of 18 points and 13 rebounds for him.
Well, they started strong, did the Blazers, 26 points with their 2 big men, but a little ice cold down the stretch, and the late heroics from Zach Bryant, not enough. Rick Stansbury gets the job done, back healthy and on the sideline, and now 6 wins in their last 8 games. Western Kentucky 73 and the Blazers 67. Coming up next, Copa Libertadores action as Atlético Nacional taking on Libertad. From my partner Megan Perry, I'm Phil Shane, saying so long as you're looking at Bartow Arena. The Blazers stymied by the Toppers 73-67. Thanks for watching and have a good night.